Gunshots, 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 gunshots. Yo, this is 10 new details about P. Diddy's life inside the violent New York City jail. Pay attention. We're going to break it down. I'm going to give you my expertise opinion to go along with the, correspondence to let you know what was in the mind while I was doing my 26 years in jail. If you subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the like button, follow me on Instagram. There goes my Cash App. Make sure you hit the icon that says it was created in 2020. All right. You know what it is, Unique Mech Audio, man. I'm going to break this down, and I'm going to show you a commentary done by Palace Hunting, right? I like using these people's podcasts because I get to get a little deeper and let you know what the mindset is, for these individuals when I do these crime stories. So sit back, let's enjoy the ride. We ain't going to waste no time with this. All right?
10 new details about P. Diddy's life inside the violent New York City jail. P. Diddy is making his third attempt to be released on bail, and this time it may take place at the United States District Court. A judge has been assigned to the case, and now the decision of whether Diddy will be released or not depends on him. Currently, Diddy remains detained in a jail in Brooklyn, where, according to his lawyers, the living conditions are terrible, with moldy food, tiny cells, and no pillows on the beds. P. Diddy, 54, has entered his fourth week of detention at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn.
All right, so let me break this down, right? You see how they say no pillows on the bed? When you in the feds, they don't give you no pillow. That's a luxury, So we normally, let's ride. I feel like riding. Now, when you in the penitentiary and you want to lay down, you want to get comfortable, you know what I mean? We take listen, let me tell you one, right? Now, when I go through different holding centers, because for 26 years, I've been through a lot of different, what they call SHUs, special housing units, AKA detention, AKA isolation. Now, when I go through these joints, all they give you is a bedroll, which is a blanket, 2 sheets, a towel, and a washcloth. That's all you get for the bedroll. No pillow, as you see. So what would you do to make a pillow? They put you in a cell and all they gave you was that. Put it in the comments what you'll do to make a pillow. Now I'm going to tell you what I did to make a pillow. Now, you can take your blanket, fold it up, put it on your head, but 9 times out of 10, the cell is freezing cold because they're trying to kill the germs from the other inmates, so they keep the AC up high like you in a hospital. So imagine living 24 hours in an ice box. That's what it's like. So now take the blanket off the table. You know what I mean? You need the sheets because you need to cover up because the blankets be this nasty, like woolen material that be itching your skin. I mean, it make you feel like you got ants crawling in your body just feeling the blanket on your skin. So you put the sheet over you first and then the blanket over that. And then you put the first sheet over the mattress because 9 times out of 10, the mattress is a pissy mattress. You know what I mean? Dudes pee on themselves, dudes masturbate in the mattress, dudes do everything in the mattress. So when you get it, you normally put a piece of plastic over it and then you put your sheet over it. But when you put the plastic over it, that makes it hot when you sleep on it, even though you're sleeping on top of the sheets because you're sleeping on plastic. Very uncomfortable. But you have to do that to make sure you don't catch what they call scabies and all that they got in the jail. So this is what Diddy is subject to right now, being locked up. I'm going to get into real detail with this because I want y'all to understand this, right? But what I use for a pillow is my roll of toilet paper. Yes, toilet paper. You take the roll of toilet paper, you flatten it, and you put it under your head, and you lay down and you sleep like a baby. Welcome to prison. Welcome to breaking the law. That's why I tell the youth it's not worth it. Don't break the law. See, I just gave you that behind the scenes commentary. Let's keep it moving.
Brooklyn, living a life completely different from the luxury of his mansions in Miami and Los Angeles.
Now, look at this. Now, Diddy went from living in mansions and yachts and private jets to living in one of these cells behind me. Welcome to my world for 26 and a half years. Let's go. All right.
Ironically, it was the evidence gathered at these mansions that led to Diddy's arrest in March. Federal investigators raided Diddy's homes in Florida and California to collect evidence for the case against him. We now have a clearer picture of what the investigators collected, including several AR-15 rifles with removed serial numbers, magazines, and illegal drugs. However, Diddy is not facing charges related to the possession of these items.
Yet. Remember that.
Instead, electronic evidence led to his charges in September. A major theme in this indictment is the complex satisfaction demands, orchestrated with late-night parties involving naked women and numerous celebrities like Leonardo DiCaprio, Kim Kardashian, and Justin Bieber. The government alleges that these events took place without consent. The indictment states that Diddy's pattern of abuse often involved drugging or forcing alcohol on the victims, often mixed with other substances. He also attacked the victims and then forced them to engage in deviant acts with. Currently, the Federal Reserve claims they have evidence of these bizarre events, as Diddy often recorded them. Investigators seem to have collected dozens of videos and over 100 devices, including mobile phones, laptops, cloud accounts, and storage devices. They allege that Diddy used the sensitive and incriminating recordings he made during these bizarre incidents as a tool to ensure compliance and silence from the victims. Those recordings, once used to keep victims quiet, now serve as evidence to prosecute Diddy in a decades-long human trafficking conspiracy. The allegations against Diddy have been circulating for a long time, with survivors reporting abuse as far back as 1991. Last November, Cassandra Ventura, Diddy's ex-girlfriend, filed a civil lawsuit against him, accusing him of years of emotional and physical abuse during their relationship. Cassie mentioned Diddy's recordings and how he used them to keep her silent. Since then, dozens of other civil lawsuits have been filed, all following the same pattern, accusing Diddy of drugging victims, assaulting them, and recording these incidents. This has led to Diddy's indictment and arrest, and it's likely that more lawsuits will follow. Houston-based lawyer Tony Busby revealed that he is preparing to file 120 new civil lawsuits against Diddy with even more shocking allegations. Diddy has been in the spotlight for decades, with a substantial bank account and a lavish life in mansions across multiple cities. Suddenly, he is living in a terrible jail, which is clearly a major shock. For someone used to being served hand and foot and never having to wait in line, being detained is a complete change. This is truly a life-altering moment. Currently, Diddy is the only one charged in this case, which has led to his detention at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York. The jail is so dangerous that Diddy spent $50 million requesting bail but was denied.
Yeah, so you understand. He's the only one charged in this indictment. This indictment is called conspiracy. That means you conspired with someone else to violate the statutes of the United States. So now he conspired to violate, but with who? This is where his lawyer is supposed to be screaming bloody murder, saying that my client is innocent. He wasn't even charged properly, and under the Sixth Amendment, he has the right to confront his accusers. That's the Sixth Amendment. Just like they got the Second Amendment, you have the right to bear arms. First Amendment, you already know what that is. That's the freedom of speech. The Fourth Amendment, that's, search and seizure. I mix them around a little bit because y'all got to study them to learn them yourself, because it's good to know it, because you never know when you're going to get picked up on the outside. All right?
Let's explore the 10 latest details about Diddy's life in jail. Number 10. The jail is a living hell. The rapper's new reality is harsh, completely different from his luxurious life in his $35 million, 8,000 square foot home in Miami, where he was protected by private security and surrounded by friends and family.
Could you imagine going from living to this, to the jail cell that we're getting ready to show you? Going from this, having maids, butlers, getting up when you want, doing what you want, to living in a jail cell.
In January 2019, a prolonged power outage pushed the jail into a crisis, leaving inmates nearly in complete darkness for a week, forcing them to endure freezing temperatures in the northeast. Justin, 30, along with Christian, 26, and Chance, 18, shared that it's a terrible, horrible place, said an inmate who spent 3 months at...
Look at that. That's the cell that Diddy's living in. That's a normal cell. That's not the exact cell, but that's the type of cell. Look how filthy that is. Look at the rust on the bed. Look at the rust and the filth on the floor. So Diddy went from a mansion to living like this. Now, let me ride and tell you one. You know we like to ride. Now, you see that bunk on the left, right? We would take a pair of toenail clippers, and we'll trace out the shape of a God you now, right? That's a penitentiary God you now, right? Y'all put in the comments so the people that don't know what a God you now is. And just like, you know, you got the he cipher, monkey ciphers, they in here carrying all types of stuff. That might be all kinds of feces and, you know, semen and everything else in that cell from that. But we take the toenail clippers and we trace the shape of the God you now, and then we take and just get a little hole put in that steel that you see over there, you know, on the left, right? Where's that? Right here. You know, steel right there. Now, we take a piece of dental floss and we put it through that little hole that we cut, and we sit there and we take a towel, a wet towel, and you take the dental floss, you string it through it, and you wrap it around your hand, and you sit there like this all night long, forcing to cut that steel with this dental floss. And for those of y'all, I know that sounds crazy, but yes, dental floss cuts through steel. So imagine what it'll do to your teeth. That's the #1 knife sharpener that we got in there. All right.
MDC in 2019, there's no air circulation and the food is awful. Prison consultant Sam Mangle described parts of the facility as a living hell and added, MDC is probably the worst federal jail in the country.
Could you imagine Diddy having to sit down on his toilet after sitting on solid gold toilet seats? Could you imagine Diddy having to smell the feces coming out that toilet water after in his solid gold seat toilet bowl he had sparkling spring water, and now he's dealing with this filth? Just put yourself in the frame of mind where Diddy's at right now is all I want you to do. Just think about what I'm saying, because this is nothing that you want for anyone, not even your enemy, if you are a God-fearing person, because you know that you'll allow God to take care of the problems that we have, not us, because God has a helper called karma. Remember that. God's helper is karma.
These inmates are under 24/7 surveillance, with fluorescent lights and cameras on all day. Diddy undergoes a full body search every time he leaves his cell.
You see what they said, right? Sorry to keep stopping it, but I got to break this down so y'all really understand. When I was in ADX, right, because you know we like to ride. When I was in ADX, they kept the lights on in the cell 24 hours a day. The lights never went on so the police could walk by to make sure that the isolation wasn't going to drive me mad to commit aside. You know what I mean? Just so you understand. But they kept the light on so long that up to this day, my left eye and my retina, it's like I don't see as good there because I used to lay on my left side to try and duck the light that was over here. And with the fluorescent light on all day, it kind of like pulled my eye to the light. Even while I was asleep, under my eyelids, my eyes was towards the light, and it weakened my retina, is what they told me. And my vision is kind of bad in my left eye, but you know, it is what it is. Welcome to prison. We can't cry over spilt milk. Let's get back to this.
Inmates considered to be a danger to themselves are given rubber shoes and special eating utensils, and personal hygiene items like toothbrushes must be authorized.
Yo, let me give you one, right? Let me give you one. Hold up. Let me give you one, right? Let me give you one. Hold up. I got to give you one, man. I got to give you this one. Yo, when I was in ADX, right? When I was in ADX, it was like
Led to
crazy,
Diddy's arrest in March.
right? Hold up. When I was in ADX, it was crazy because I had a female come visit me, right? When she came to visit me, I'm eating, and they used to give us this little bit of salad, on the tray. So I ate my little turkey sandwich, and now I went to eat my salad, and I'm eating my salad with my hands, right? I'm picking up the salad, eating with my hands, fam. And she's looking at me like horrified, like, and I'm looking at her like, what's wrong? And she's like, you're eating it with your hands. I'm like, what do you want me to eat with? You see this little spork? That's what they call it, a spork. That's a spoon with little notches on the end. That's supposed to be a fork, so they call it a spork. I see, you see this little spork they gave me? How you expect me to pick up this lettuce with anything other than my hands? So I'm eating with my hands, and to me it was normal, and to her it was abnormal. But from the world that I was in, living in 23 hours a day lockdown, it was the norm. To the world that she was living in, this in society, it was abnormal and disgusting because I was eating with my hands. But that's how they're gonna turn Diddy to eating with his hands while he's in prison, so that you fully understand what we're talking about. This is not nice. This is just what it is. So, let's get back to this video, man, so that we can do what we got to do. All right.
Major theme in this indictment is the complex satisfaction demands, orchestrated with late-night parties involving naked women and numerous celebrities like Leonardo DiCaprio, Kim Kardashian, and Justin Bieber. The government alleges that these events took place without consent. The indictment states that Diddy's pattern of abuse often involved drugging or forcing alcohol on the victims, often mixed with other substances. He also attacked the victims and then forced them to engage in deviant acts with.
Yo, they make him sound like a real monster, right? If he did this, he is definitely a monster.
Currently, the Federal Reserve claims they have evidence of these bizarre events, as Diddy often recorded them. Investigators seem to have collected dozens of videos and over 100 devices, including mobile phones, laptops, cloud accounts, and storage devices. They allege that Diddy used the sensitive and incriminating recordings he made during these bizarre incidents as a tool to ensure compliance and silence from the victims. Those recordings, once used to keep victims quiet, now serve as evidence to prosecute Diddy in a decades-long human trafficking conspiracy. One charged in this case, which has led to his detention at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York. The jail is so dangerous that Diddy spent $50 million requesting bail but was denied. Let's explore the 10 latest details about Diddy's life in jail. Number 10. The jail is a living hell. The rapper's new reality is harsh, completely different. MDC in 2019, there's no air circulation and the food is awful. Prison consultant Sam Mangle described parts of the facility as a living hell and added, MDC is probably the worst federal jail in the country. These inmates are under 24/7 surveillance, with fluorescent lights and cameras on all day. Diddy undergoes a full body search every time he leaves his cell. Inmates considered to be a danger to themselves are given rubber shoes and special eating utensils, and personal hygiene items like toothbrushes must be authorized.
You see, did you see what they just said? They give them toothbrushes. Toothbrushes be turned into knives. Take a little razor blade, melt the end of the toothbrush, put it in the end of the joint, and you already know what it is. Now, this is bananas to think that a man that was living like Diddy has to go through this.
This place is meant for dangerous criminals and highly famous individuals. About 30 inmates on this floor are in single-person cells that are smaller than usual. A source added that there's also a recreation deck about 500 square feet in size. Number 9. Afraid to eat for fear of being poisoned. A former inmate named Larry Levine, who was held at MDC, revealed to News Nation that the food at the Metropolitan Detention Center is heavy on carbohydrates and incredibly bland. In addition to being moldy, Diddy's food often arrives cold since he's held in the area that receives food last. Moreover, the hip-hop mogul faces the possibility of being poisoned through his food. Sources say the food is far from appetizing. There's chili, shredded chicken with rice, and Wednesday is burger day, but it's just one thin patty like shoe leather, said the first former inmate. The usual daily menu includes oatmeal and bran for breakfast, chicken sandwiches for lunch, and Salisbury steak for dinner. After a certain period, inmates can purchase items at the commissary, like packets of tuna for $3.45, seasonings and chocolate bars. Everyone tries to get to the commissary to buy extra food. However, a source also mentioned that after being incarcerated, Diddy refused to eat because he feared being poisoned. An inmate who was in jail with Diddy told foreign media, "Imagine if someone paid an inmate to poison his food and give him a heart attack, then he would die." In Diddy's bail request, his lawyer noted some courts in the district have acknowledged that the conditions at the Metropolitan Detention Center are not suitable for pretrial detention. The New York Times previously reported that the lawyer for Edwin Cordero, a prisoner who died following a brawl in jail, reflected on the terrible environment his client had to face in a letter to a federal judge in June. The lawyer described the federal jail as overcrowded, understaffed, and neglected, resembling a living hell. What do you think about the food here? Share your thoughts. Number 8. No pillow in prison. His daily life behind bars is completely different from what he used to rap about and boast on social media, with a private chef, assistants, and staff catering to his every whim. When he wakes up, Diddy stares at white concrete walls, a far cry from any decoration in his mansion.
You know what it's like sitting in this cell behind me for 23 hours a day, watching and feeling like the walls are caving in on you? That's the most mind-torturing thing ever. And that's where you must learn to read. Because if you read a book, it'll help you elevate beyond the walls to let you forget about the problems that you're now subject to living through.
Now Diddy will have to follow a strict schedule for eating, bathing, and laundry. Nearly 1,600 inmates at MDC must wake up at 6 a.m. Diddy's charges are a problem within the Bureau of Prisons. He will be yelled at and threatened by others.
Yeah, you see that? I get up to this day at 5 o'clock every morning because the prison doors open up at 6. I like to stretch, get my push-ups in just in case when the doors open, somebody from the night before got a beef with me and want to run up in my cell. I got to be what we call suited and booted. That means my boots on, laced up, my khaki uniform on, you know what I mean, on my sweatsuit. But I got to be suited and booted and ready for whatever, because if I can't protect myself, I can't protect my comrades. So if you're sitting there sleeping in bed when the doors open, your comrades is going to look at you like you not down for us. You're not even trying to protect yourself. So how you going to protect us? So every man that's doing real time, that's surviving, they get up before the doors pop. And that's why to this day, I still get up. If I get at 4 in the morning, I still get up at 5. Because the door's going to pop at 6. You know what I mean? Let's get this thing moving, man.
The scariest part is that Diddy has to wake up on a steel bed with a mattress that's only 1.5 inches thick, without a pillow, in a 6x 9-foot cell that I can assure you is disgusting, said a source. The facility's special housing unit, where Diddy is being held, essentially has only a 3x 5-foot space to move around in.
Yo, you see this right here that you're looking at behind you? This is how Lum Park, California look. This is how Cherry Hut look, in the shoe and in the units. See those rails that's going up above me right there? In Lum Park, they got 4 floors like that. I seen a dude jump off the 4th tier to get away from a dude that was chasing him with a guard you now. Somebody put in a comment what a guard you now is. But he jumped off and doggone almost broke his neck, but he got away from that guard you now.
Number 7. Violence is common in prison. His case has now been handed to Judge Jane Subramanian, appointed by President Joe Biden in 2022 and started her duties in 2023. She previously served as a law clerk for Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg and oversaw the Justice Department's antitrust case against Ticketmaster, which came to light after the website crash incident in 2022 when Taylor Swift fans tried to buy concert tickets. Meanwhile, Diddy remains held at MDC Brooklyn. The Metropolitan Detention Center opened in 1994, notorious for violence, filthy living conditions, and several cases of inmate suicides. The Metropolitan Detention Center is always understaffed, frequently on lockdown, and plagued by outbreaks of violence and delays in accessing medical care. In 2020, inmate Jamel Floyd died after being pepper sprayed by prison guards, and in July, Edwin Cordero died during a fight.
Do you know what it's like to get pepper sprayed in the face? That's all I want to know. Do you know what it's like to get pepper sprayed in the face? Let's take that off. Y'all, the first time they pepper sprayed me was in the state jail. When they pepper spray you, it's like your eyes are burning. It's like fire is in your eyes and your skin even feel like it's burning. And then you reach up to go scratch it and rub it because your eyes are burning. So your instinct make you go for your eyes. And when you go for your eyes, you're really just rubbing it in and smearing it in even more and make it even worse. And the police is sitting back laughing at you like you ignorant trigger. But let's get back to this, man. You know, because this is crazy. You ain't never seen nothing like this here.
The prison is disgusting. There are rats running everywhere and everything. No human should live like that. People outside might see Diddy as a 10, but in prison you automatically become a 5. It's a whole different world.
Imagine rolling over and seeing that rodent on your desk eating your chips. Do you tell him to get out or do you sit there in awe like, what? You see that rodent behind me right there? That's crazy, right? And look at the filth in this cell. And you see that bottle right there that's sitting on the toilet, right? That's called a dookie bomb. That's where they put feces in it. That's urine in the bottle. And they put feces in it and a couple of, egg yolk, from the boiled eggs. You shake it up and you put it in the window in the sun and you let the sun bake that urine and feces and rotten egg and it stinks so bad. And when the police come by and they try and give you a hard time, you let the bomb go. Right? Let me ride. It was this one little short, like Philippine Asian type chick, but she was kind of thick, right? Now she's up in the joint, and you had this dude that was like he was like a deviant. He used to what we call gun. When your joint called gunning, right? He used to gun the females. So this case manager, counselor came through. She had a little white shirt, little thick thing, come walking through, pants all tight, feeling all good. So my man called her over there to the cell. And when he called her to the cell, he butt naked, right? And he gunning her. And she went and she screamed, right? And he told her, stop making that noise. Shh, shh. This is how deviants work in there. He's like, yo, shut up, shut up. You know you like it. You know you like it. And she's screaming bloody hell. And being that she wouldn't stop screaming, he took that same bottle type behind us, but it was like a shampoo bottle. That's what you put in a shampoo bottle because it got the little squirt at the top that can make it go further. And he squirted the shampoo with the feces all in this lady's face, her hair, on her chest. And she started screaming and ran down a tear, pulling off her shirt. And she's in a bra, and we in prison 15 years, haven't seen a woman say the tatas. And here she go ripping all the joint off, and you could see the dookie bomb running all down her chest, and she rubbing it on and trying to get it off her. And she ran and jumped into the inmate shower to wash it off. Is how bad she felt. And my man just kept laughing. When the police came down the tier to see what happened, she told them, such and such, they, call it, that's called a gunning, right? Like he was gunning me. So they run down there ready to go rough him up because that mean that he was choking his chicken at the chicken, and you know what I mean? And when they run down there and they talk about cuff up, he took that dookie bomb and and he squirted it all over them, right? The next day, one of the police, about 3 days later, one of the police came and said, yo, that joint smells so bad that my superior gave me 3 days off to go wash and clean my car because that smell stayed in the car so bad, he said he had to sell the car. But what do you expect? You got cooked urine, feces, and rotten egg in a bottle that was sitting in the sun for at least a week, thrown on you because you was being a prick. You know? welcome to my world. This is where Diddy's at. So even if Diddy don't participate in none of this, he get a chance to come out, start a YouTube channel, because he will be broke like Unique Mecca Audio, and start from scratch. And that's why the Cash App is on the screen. If this don't deserve a Cash App, I don't know what to tell you. Let's keep it moving. All right?
His legal team pointed out that this prison is notoriously dangerous, with lawyer Mark Nefo highlighting severe issues like violence, poor conditions, overcrowding, and understaffing. He cited some alarming statistics, including 2 inmates killed at MDC since June. Number 6. Frequent body searches. Although he's no longer on suicide watch, Diddy is still being held in a protective custody unit, along with Sam Bankman-Fried, who was convicted of fraud and money laundering last November after the collapse of the cryptocurrency exchange FTX.
Hold up. Do y'all know what a body search is? Put in the comments if you know what body search is. Y'all keep it 100. I'm going to tell you not to slow down the show. A body search is when you got to get butt naked. Let the police check all your clothes. Put your hands up so he can look at you. He tell you to pick up your testicles. You know what I mean? Make sure nothing under it. And then they tell you to turn around. And then they tell you to bend over and cough. Now, you got a man behind you while you bending over, spreading your cheeks and coughing. This is how they treat you in prison, man. So I'm telling you, it's not worth it. Don't go to prison. It's not worth it. So you can imagine what Diddy and this young man behind me feeling like, having to be thrown into this world. So it's a wonder why this dude, being that he got a peace of mind, wound up giving Diddy his lawyer, because his lawyer got him calm. She figured out how to keep him calm. So Diddy went out and hired her too, so she could keep him calm. All right.
Both are housed in a separate area of MDC meant for inmates needing special protection. According to some reports, Diddy will also be subject to frequent body searches at any time. It's an unpleasant experience. Diddy will have to strip completely. The guard will check his mouth. They'll tell him to turn around, bend over, spread his buttocks, cough, turn back, lift his genitals, and squat. According to a lawsuit filed on behalf of inmates, prisoners have allegedly been confined to their cells for days and forced to endure non-functioning toilets inside their cells and other unsanitary conditions. Number 5. Limited communication.
Hold up. Before we even begin, right? Before we even begin, let me come up here real big and talk to my people, man. Let me talk to my people. Let's talk about these toilets, right? We're gonna ride. The toilets is like one of our main weapons in the prison. What we do with the toilets is, if the police act up, you know what I mean, we clog the toilet up and then we keep flushing it and we let it overflow, and that's called flooding the cell. When you do that, you normally holler down a tier and you tell everybody else, like dudes will be on the tier, somebody mad at the police, they'll be like, yo, Diddy, take your stuff off the floor, Diddy, take your stuff off the floor. That means he's getting ready to flood, you know what I mean? Or he might just yell penitentiary talk, but Diddy knew, so they just have to say, take your stuff off the floor. But by now, Diddy been there long enough to know how it goes, so they just said, the tier is wet. The tier is wet. When you start yelling, the tier is wet, that means that you getting ready to flood the tier. You're telling the other inmates out of courtesy, pick your legal papers and personal things and commissary or whatever off the floor, because I'm getting ready to flood this joint, because they not acting like they supposed to. So what they did now, right, because we ride, what they did, right, the first time I seen it was when I went to Raybrook, right? I go to Raybrook, I'm in a hole. I use the, my cellie used the bathroom, and I'm like, yo, come on, man, flush. You know what I mean? We call it a courtesy flush. Y'all been in prison, you already know. He do tell you, but I ain't do nothing yet. Dog, give me a courtesy flush. You know what I mean? A courtesy flush means just in case what? Y'all put in the comments. What do you think a courtesy flush is for? Put it in the comments. A courtesy flush in case you pass gas, in case you AKA farted. You know what I mean? So now, you can't get a courtesy flush in Raybrook because the police moved the flusher to the outside of the cell, and only the police have access to it. And the police make rounds every 15 minutes. So if your cellie used the bathroom and it's stinking, there's nothing that you can do until the police make a rounds and say, officer, could you flush the toilet? And by the time he take 2 more steps, your cellie feels so good that the toilet is flushed, he let out another bomb. that done drop. And you can say, "Yo, officer, flush the toilet." They'd be like, "Nope, 15 minutes, only flush the toilet once every 15 minutes, but he just defecated now and he's killing me in here." Nope, we're not going to do it. And that's where you get out the dookie bomb and what we call shit them down. You know what I mean? That's where you shit them down. Oh, you don't want to flush the toilet? You want me to live in here with this? That's where you take the little shampoo bottle and you squirt it on them and you shit them down. You know, not promoting violence, just telling you what happened in the prison. Let's keep this thing moving. You know what I mean? So we know where we at. All right.
With fellow inmates. Diddy's wealth and fortune offer him no benefits here. In the federal prison system, conditions are highly restricted. Being held in administrative segregation, Diddy has no interaction with other inmates. There's no TV or radio. Instead, prisoners are given a Bible and one other book each week. Even if he's moved to the general population, the conditions are not much better. Hundreds of people, but only a few TVs are divided by race. Diddy is also said to face significant restrictions on communicating with the outside world. Diddy only gets 300 minutes of phone time per month. So if you use the phone for 30 minutes a day, after 10 days you can't use the phone for the next 20 days. Sometimes you run out of minutes in the first week, and then you're left talking to yourself. His wealth doesn't help Diddy here. In nearly a month at MDC, Diddy has had the chance to speak on the phone with his children and even had family visits. Additionally, he can access some emails. Emails are timed at about 5 cents a minute, said former MDC inmate Blair G., who was there in 2016, adding that messages are closely monitored and are only text-based. You can't receive any pictures or anything like that. Visiting hours are limited, and visitors must undergo a background check. What do you think about this? Please share your thoughts. Number 4. The difficulty of mounting a defense. Currently, Diddy is being held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, and his legal team has raised several concerns about the conditions there. Of course, no prison is ideal, but the conditions at MDC seem worse than others. Do you think that if he's not granted bail, his team could still request a transfer to another facility before the trial? They will try everything they can to make it happen.
Oh, yes, he can definitely file to move to another jail, but you better believe they're going to send him to a worse jail. When you go reaching out to them and complaining about getting your rights, they punish you. It's called retaliation. You know, let's get this thing moving.
No one would deny that there could be concern about pursuing Diddy without concrete evidence, but it's important to remember that all prisons are bad and some are worse. If you transfer him, questions will arise about why he's being given special treatment. Perhaps he deserves it for his contributions to the community and the world. However, arguing that this prison is worse is not the first strategy. Diddy is currently in the prison's protective unit due to his celebrity status. If he were moved to the general population, would he be at risk? Possibly, because there are many people in prison with nothing left to lose, and they could try to exploit the situation to harm Diddy. Moving Diddy out of segregation into an area with more people could create unforeseen risks, and if something bad happens, the decision-maker could be sued. That's a big concern that neither the judge nor the prosecutor wants to face. Diddy certainly wants to leave prison, but as he's preparing for a trial without pleading guilty, this makes everything harder. While he's in jail, preparing a defense becomes more difficult. Lawyers face many challenges, from securing confidential information to passing through security to meet with their clients. There could be situations like in the Young Thug case in Georgia, where lawyers felt the need to be close to their clients to prepare together. From a legal perspective, being detained like this could affect Diddy's right to a proper defense.
Yeah, if y'all don't know what happened with that Young Thug case, I'm going to break it down. He got a lawyer named Brian Steele that's officially gangster, right? They got him for contempt of court because he refused to snitch on Kyla Bumpus. Allegedly, she was the one that told him about the ex parte hearing, and they went to put him in contempt of court and sentenced him to like 10 weekends in jail, 20 weekends in jail, whatever it was. You rat bastards. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, he sat there and he asked the judge, okay, if I got to do my 10, 20 weekends in jail, can I do it with my client so we could work on the case? Now, what lawyer is going to talk about he want to be incarcerated with his client instead of groveling to not be incarcerated? That was gangster. and he gets a round of applause. That's the gangster of the week, Brian Steele, down in the YSL Young Thug trial. That's it. That's it. Calm down, y'all. Calm down. Let's get back to this.
The attorneys will need to argue that this hinders his ability to prepare his case. They might propose temporarily releasing Diddy to prepare for the trial. Ensuring the accused doesn't evade justice is essential, but it's also undeniable that Diddy needs a conducive environment to prepare for his case. Some prison phone calls are recorded, whether with family or friends, and may contain incriminating information. We've also heard about inmates eavesdropping or reading each other's diaries. Do you think the prosecution will be closely monitoring Diddy while he's behind bars for any information that could help their case? These people are often very cautious and don't want to miss any details. If I were his lawyer, I would advise Diddy not to talk about his case on the phone, as that's extremely risky. Although Diddy should have the right to speak privately with his attorney, if the prosecution eavesdrops, they may learn crucial information Diddy doesn't want disclosed. This makes it difficult for the defense. Interestingly, we've heard a lot from the prosecution about the evidence they have, but not much from the defense side. Diddy remains innocent until proven guilty. The prosecution claims they have a lot of evidence from witnesses. What are your thoughts on this? Please share your opinions. Number 3. Diddy spends $50 million for bail but is denied. After being arrested, Diddy pleaded not guilty and immediately requested bail. His legal team proposed a substantial bail package, suggesting that Diddy would put up $50 million for his release. This sum was co-signed by Diddy, his sister, his mother, his 3 adult sons, and the mother of 2 of his children.
Yo, Diddy cold disrespected the government. And I know they wanted to give him gunshots for even offering him $50 million lousy dollars when he allegedly gave Cassie over $100 million. So all it's worth for you to go see your family and be free to fight this case is a lousy $50 million. Do we look like we're starving? Do we look like we're running a YouTube channel here? Or does it look like we running the federal government? You know, that's where they at, man. Come on, Diddy. Stop disrespecting them peoples, man, and kick the bag out, man. Supposed to offer him $500 million, man. Come on, dog.
The defense also proposed that Diddy would be subject to strict travel restrictions, including the use of GPS monitoring and limited contact with female visitors. However, Judge Andrew L. Carter denied the request, citing concerns that the bail amount was insufficient to ensure Diddy would not flee or compromise the integrity of the case. Now, with a new judge appointed, there is a possibility that the bail package could be reconsidered. However, the new judge may be even stricter, as the previous one had already ruled against his release. Judge Robin Tarnowski also denied Diddy's bail, citing concerns over his apparent anger issues and history of substance abuse. She expressed fears over the potential danger he could pose to the community and the possibility of witness tampering. If the new judge approves bail, questions about fairness may arise. While $50 million is a significant sum, the core issue remains whether Diddy could potentially evade trial. Many people are willing to forfeit large sums to avoid jail time, and clearly Diddy has the financial means to flee if he wanted to.
And he'll leave that $50 million behind like it's nothing.
The judge must weigh whether, with restrictions in place, Diddy could still be a flight risk. Although the defense is aware of the previous reasons for denial, they might approach the matter differently this time. We'll have to wait and see if the new judge will allow bail. Diddy's defense attorney Mark Agnifilo has stated that he is appealing to the Federal Court of Appeals to overturn Judge Carter's ruling and have Diddy released. The attorney also aims to have his client moved to a different prison, though this request has yet to be granted. What do you think about this? Do you believe Diddy deserves to be granted bail? Share your thoughts below. Number 1. Judges fear Diddy will flee. As mentioned regarding the bail issue, Diddy has been denied twice. Both judges pointed out that he has vast resources and the ability to flee using his wealth and access to private jets. This is a valid concern for the judges, as no one wants to face criticism for allowing a potential flight risk to escape justice. Despite the presumption of innocence until proven guilty, the decision of whether to grant bail in Diddy's case is complex. Some judges are naturally wary of wealthy defendants who might be tempted to flee. However, there are monitoring options like ankle bracelets and tracking devices that could provide alternatives. If Diddy can cover the cost of these protective measures, it might open up another possibility for his case. It's interesting to note that despite all the money and resources Diddy has, why hasn't there been a solution allowing him to be placed under house arrest? While it may sound like special treatment, the reality is that keeping someone like Diddy in prison is costly to taxpayers. He also cannot be placed in the general population, where everyone wants to get close to him. Perhaps there are solutions that his $800 million fortune and connections could help create, like building a private prison just for him. It's intriguing that they refuse to make exceptions and keep him on the same level as others, despite his financial situation. For judges, this is a no-win situation. They will act cautiously and keep him detained out of fear he might flee. This leads to a situation where individuals who could be granted bail end up living a life of incarceration. Looking back, Diddy was raided by federal investigators in March, so it's clear that he was aware of the situation.
Hey, yo, look at that. All of this for a dude freaking off. And he's going to lose his company. I got another video that I'm getting ready to drop. I might drop it before this, after this, or whatever, where we break down the financial woes and how they're going after the bag, because that's what this is all about. All this Homeland Security to go get freak tapes. This is what the taxpayer monies is going to? Come on, man. Y'all talk to me and let me know.
If Diddy had intended to flee, he had ample time during the 6 months between the raids and his indictment. His defense could emphasize that he had numerous opportunities to escape but didn't. He's willing to comply with any court-ordered protective measures, even bearing the cost, as he believes in his innocence. The law mandates that Diddy should not be treated differently, just because there is more evidence against him than against others. Prosecutors should not pursue a case they aren't confident in winning.
You see the way they just said that, right? It's the prosecutors and all that, right? They ain't supposed to pursue a case that they can't win, and Diddy's supposed to be treated the same as other inmates, right? So if he's supposed to be treated the same as other inmates is capable of getting bail, right? So why isn't Diddy allowed to get bail? Because he got more money. So now his money is stopping him from being treated like other inmates. So if he went in there dead broke like Unique Make Audio, then that means that he would have got a bail. So sometimes it might be best to just stay dead broke. You know what I mean? So that's what that is, man. Let's keep it moving.
When dealing with a high-profile figure, the pressure is immense, and they must be careful with every move. If they prosecute an innocent person and are later proven wrong, the consequences will be severe.
There was a judge in a case that I read, because I read a lot of cases, because we ride. There was a case that I read where a judge said he'll rather let 1,000 guilty people, it said it's 100, let me see if it was. The judge said he'll rather let 100 guilty people go than to lock up one innocent person. Let me repeat that. The judge said he'll rather let 100 guilty people go than to lock up one innocent person. That's the way that is. Now, we done did this, I done ran this down. I hope y'all like the content, the commentary. Make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed. Hit the notification bell, you know, if you subscribed already. If you just subscribed, hit the notification bell. Cash App is on the screen. I don't give it $5, $10, whatever. Help me improve this studio. I ain't like Diddy. I ain't got the bag. I'm just giving you the wisdom so you can stay out of jail once you get the bag like Diddy. See, Diddy should have listened and he wouldn't be where he's at. Let's keep this moving. All right.
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
Fresh out the can of 26, yeah. Heat back on the strip, getting back in the mix. Yeah. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Real. Take a little gully posse and put it in hall. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. An Instagram page and a YouTube you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops make an audio. Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spend a couple bands on the Dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a roaring uptown. They be horn uptown, Dominican bust downs. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now he trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend an ear. He started in uptown, he gon' finish there.